So tell me more about the Lighthouse Church.
What would you like to know?
Well, how many people attend the church?
There are well over 100 adults at the Lighthouse.
And what about children?
At last count, there were over 42,000 small children and babies at the Lighthouse.
You are exaggerating.
Yes, but not by much. There is certainly no shortage of babies and small children at the Lighthouse, and so we have many programs to serve them. As someone has observed, at the Lighthouse Church, we put the pro in procreation.
Let me ask you another question.
Hit me.
What are the names of your priests?
We do not have priests at the Lighthouse. Instead, we have Mr. Paul and his son, Sammy.
Who is Mr. Paul?
Mr. Paul is the senior pastor of the Lighthouse.
I think I have heard of Mr. Paul.
A surprising number of people have.
Is that a good thing?
Usually.
So can you tell me what he is like?
Yes, he is a handsome man, and gifted at many things, including counseling and leadership development.
Excuse me, but did you just say he is handsome?
Yes.
That is a strange thing to say about your pastor.
Nevertheless, it is true.
And who started the Lighthouse?
Actually, Mr. Paul and his wife Vicky started the Lighthouse over 10 years ago.
That must have taken a great deal of faith.
I completely agree.
And I have heard that Mr. Paul has changed a great deal over the years.
If by that you mean that he does not dip, chew, cuss, chase and act ugly, then I would agree.
That's kind of a strange expression.
It's a Lighthouse thing.
Well, I would think that if you wanted to be a Christian, then you would have to stop doing all those things first.
That is a common misconception.
What do you mean?
I simply mean that we are not required to be perfect before we approach God and ask forgiveness.
We're not?
No. We do not have to somehow clean up our act before we can approach God. To be honest, we cannot do a good job of obeying God on our own anyway, and anyone who has tried to do so already knows this to be true. Instead, we need to approach God just as we are, accept His forgiveness, and then trust Him to help us become better people.
That is not what I have been taught in the past.
Then I would politely suggest that you have been taught incorrectly.
How can I know that what you are saying is true?
Because I'm simply repeating what is found in the New Testament.
But God changed Mr. Paul, for example, right?
Most definitely.
And so God has made him a stronger and better man.
Yes. It is said, mostly by Mr. Paul himself, that now he can whip a cow pen full of boogeymen.
What does that mean?
I haven't the slightest idea, yet it never fails to impress me when I hear it.
So do I have to be perfect before I come to the Lighthouse Church?
No.
And will people judge me?
No.
And should I bring several babies with me, just to fit in?
No, but we could certainly use your help in the nursery.